Hello, thanks for joining me. Let's see what the weather's got in store for us over the next week or so. Recently, it's been relatively quiet on the weather front, be it a little on the cloudy side. There has been some sunshine around, but Tuesday was quite overcast in places. Now, the next few days, actually a little change on the way. There'll be variable amounts of cloud from day to day. Some days will be sunnier than others. But it hasn't been completely dry in the last 24 hours. In fact, this weather front snuck into Cornwall and Devon and brought some outbreaks of rain, but that was the exception rather than the rule. How about the rainfall for the next 5 days? Not an awful lot expected. In fact, this is the rainfall accumulation over the next 5 days. You can see a trail of heavier rain there to the south of us, so drier conditions. In fact, not a spot of rain expected, for example, in parts of the Midlands, Northern Ireland, or even in central Scotland. Now, high pressure is very close by, but it's a high that's built in from the north. And when that happens, the air isn't particularly warm. In fact, the air is coming in from the northern climes, from the North Sea, so it is quite chilly along some of these coastlines, 15 degrees by day, no higher than that. But in this sort of situation where the sun does pop out, it tends to be sunnier and warmer in central and western areas. So I think on Wednesday, a pleasant enough day with temperatures in the low, maybe scraping the mid-20s in 1 or 2 spots. And then Wednesday night into Thursday, that North Sea wind's still with us. It drags in a little bit of cloud, and I think progressively the nights might get a little colder through the course of this week. Certainly early Thursday looks a little nippy, and even the following night could be a little colder than that, especially in the north. So here's that high building in from the northern climes. On the edge of the high here in the east, the wind continues to blow from the north across the North Sea, picks up the moisture, the cloud, and drags it in. So cooler conditions, Newcastle around 17, then you move to Cardiff and it's around 22 Celsius with some sunshine and a little change expected into Friday. That high pressure still with us there. The atmosphere is pretty much blocked. So the high is here. So the weather doesn't change an awful lot. In fact, Friday, again, lots of sunshine and temperatures in the high teens or the low 20s. So that's the end of the working week. How about the weekend? Well, already mentioned in the headline earlier on that it's going to be a dry weekend. Look at that. The high pressure actually shifts a little bit. It's slap bang over the UK. That means light winds. It's going to be a beautiful day. A little bit of fair weather cloud developing. At times it might be cloudy here and there, but on the whole, it's looking absolutely fine. And those temperatures, I mean, even a fraction above average for the time of the year, about 23 in London, 22 expected in Liverpool. And Sunday is looking equally as sunny. Now, the outlook into the following week. Now, here we have, by this stage, ex-Hurricane Erin. Now, the hurricane's currently brushing the Bahamas, but later next week, it's going to be moving across the North Atlantic and potentially heading to western parts of Europe. Not as a hurricane, but as an ex-hurricane. So the remnants of lots of wind and rain and warm tropical air spiraling around an area of low pressure, and that's reflected in this outlook here. So once we get through the weekend into next week with these ex-tropical weather systems coming our way, the weather potentially could get unsettled. So the next few days certainly looking dry. After that, probably not so.